enrollment? When does it start, and when can people start taking advantage of Medicare Advantage?
Yep. So you got a couple of questions in there. So let me answer the first one. So the first one is around the annual enrollment period, and that starts October 15th, which is next Friday, and it runs through December 7th. So when you think about that time frame, Tom, it's really only actually it's less than 2 months. So, I would encourage for, seniors to really take the time to start early, and to explore their options. I mean, this is the annual enrollment time frame. That's the one time and the one chance that seniors get to make changes to their Medicare coverage for that upcoming year in 2022. And if they don't make this decision now, they could potentially be locked into their current plan, through next year. And that could be problematic to some seniors, especially if things have changed within their health care status, et cetera.
So now, if they don't do open enrollment, they won't lose their coverage. They just they stay stuck with whatever coverage they had last year. Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. No, they don't lose their coverage. They would just stay with what they had. And, in most instances, that might be okay and that might be sufficient. But, we've been in a COVID environment here this past, 18 or so months. Things have changed, whether you're a senior or not a senior. COVID has certainly changed the health landscape for everybody. So it's really important for seniors to make sure that they're looking at those 2022 options and that they're taking advantage of that annual enrollment period.
With that in mind, what are some of the tips that can help people pick the right plan? I mean, to the point where they can even save money over the plan they had last year.
Yep, absolutely. So, the annual enrollment period can be a little overwhelming because it is a condensed time frame. So what I would do, the advice that I would offer to help them make the process in choosing a plan a little simpler is to really understand a few things. So first of all...
Excuse me real quick, Michelle. There's a bad buzz in your background. Is that something that we can alleviate?
How about now?
That's perfect.
Okay. Well, I still hear the buzz, but that's okay. So, it's a good question that you raise. And so, what I first want to stress is that health care is very personal. What fits for somebody doesn't fit for their next door neighbor or for their friend. And so seniors should make the health care coverage assessment and decisions all about them. And so I would break it out into three kind of characters or three buckets, if you will, Tom. You've got choice, you've got care, and you've got experience. And so when you think about choice, think about the following questions. Has my health changed in the past year? Has my financial situation changed? Does the plan that I'm on today meet my current needs as far as benefits? You mentioned costs. So does it meet my out-of-pocket costs, copays, and deductibles? Am I getting everything I need? The second one I mentioned is care. Access to care should be important to everybody. So when you think about care, think about these questions. Are my doctors, such as the primary care physician or a specialist, even the hospitals, are they in network with the plan that I'm within the plan that I'm looking at? Can I still see these providers? Can I continue to have access to them? Medications. Are my medications still covered? Can I still go to the same pharmacies? These are important questions around care. And then experience. Finding out about what your plan offers and the resources that are available to help a senior live a happier life. So when you think about experience, are there additional benefits in the Medicare Advantage plan that are available to me? We talk about extra benefits and services that are available. Are there dental, vision, and hearing services? fitness programs or wellness programs, are those available in the Medicare Advantage plan that I'm looking at? And I got to tell you, Tom, from a fitness and a wellness perspective, seniors love those types of programs. So that's an important benefit, and that's something that they should consider as well when they're looking at their Medicare Advantage options.
How much does things like you brought up eye care and hearing care and stuff? How much does things like mental health play into this? Is that something that somebody should look into to make sure what mental health options they have now? Because I don't think mental health gets the coverage that heart disease and lung disease gets. Is that something you should look to?
I'm actually glad you said that, because that's an omission on my part. You are absolutely right on that mental health piece, especially during the COVID and the pandemic. Looking into mental health providers, mental health choices, looking into the virtual visits. A lot of folks have kind of maybe stayed away a little bit from getting access to care that they need or getting the provider visits that they need. They've been kind of cooped up maybe a little bit. So absolutely looking into what mental health options are available. Are virtual visits available? Are they free to me, and do I have access to them 24/7? Those would all be kind of questions that they should be looking at as well. So thank you for bringing that up.
The game has changed with COVID-19. How important now is the virtual visits to healthcare?
Well, we would say it's real important, and we think that virtual visits are here to stay. This is not something that was, only in place during the pandemic, and if things within the pandemic start to ease, that virtual visits are going to go away. We think that this is embedded into treatment going forward. And it's not just on the mental health side, as I mentioned, but, primary care and some specialty services can have virtual visits. I think it's important, you mentioned cost earlier, to look at the costs associated with virtual visits. Most providers and plans are offering zero copay for that virtual visit. That's to ensure that those members have access to that type of care. So it's extremely important, and we know it's here to stay.
Tell people, we got about a minute, tell people where they can go find out more information about Medicare Advantage and how they can get everything going for this enrollment period.
Sure. The first thing that I would always recommend for any individual, because it is, like I said, it's kind of personal, and it is not one size fits all. I would always encourage a consumer to visit a licensed agent to have that one-on-one personal engagement. It's extremely important. But they can also go to MedicareMadeClear.com. That just gives you general information about Medicare in general, not specific to any carrier, but just good information on Medicare. And then, of course, for United Healthcare, there's United Healthcare Medicare HealthPlans.com.
Michelle Brownell, she's the Executive Director of United Healthcare Medicare and Retirement. Thanks so much for taking time out with us this morning.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, Tom. Thank you very much.
We'll be right back after this short time out on WOCA 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. Tongue tickler there. The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Wednesday night, President Obama appointed U.S. District Judge Robert Pittman blocked SB 8. That's Texas heartbeat law banning abortions after the baby's heartbeat is detected. It should be noted the Supreme Court declined to halt SB 8 by a 5-4 vote at the beginning of September. The debate continues. According to Johns Hopkins University, more Americans have died from COVID-19 complications under the Biden administration with a vaccine than did under President Trump without a public vaccine program. Then candidate Biden at the final presidential debate.
220,000 Americans dead. If you hear nothing else I say tonight, hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially, anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America.
USA Radio News.
You take steps to stay healthy when at the pharmacy picking up vitamins or filling a prescription.
May I help you? Take another healthy step right now and ask the pharmacist how Prevnar 13 can help protect you from pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease. If you're 65 or older, a trip to the pharmacy is a lot more pleasant than a trip to the hospital because of pneumococcal pneumonia. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13-valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Stop by the pharmacy today and ask about Prevnar 13. Learn more at Prevnar13.com. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com.
Crops that grow well in hanging baskets. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
The COVID-19 vaccine has...
And the thing I heard about the vaccine...
Sure, but do we really know about the long-term effects?
Did you read that thing on the internet?
He heard from his cousin that they don't...
Okay, you're hearing a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines these days. So how do you find out if getting vaccinated is right for you? By talking to someone you already trust, your doctor or healthcare provider. They'll answer your questions so you can decide what's best for you and your family. Go to GetVaccineAnswers.org to find out more. That's GetVaccineAnswers.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Shrimp, grouper, stone crab, oysters, clams. That's just a sample of the great seafood that Florida's Gulf Coast is famous for. Fresh, wholesome seafood caught by fishing families that for generations have taken great pride in their work. No gathering is complete without delicious Florida Gulf seafood fresh from the docks. Remember, when shopping or dining out, ask for fresh from Florida seafood. That helps our state's fishermen and our local economies.
Hanging baskets are a great solution when growing gardens vertically. Not only are they a space saver, but you could practically grow everything you'd want in a salad, or just some of your favorite flowers. While any tomato plant can work in a hanging basket, cherry tomatoes are possibly the best. For one, they don't have the huge fruits that weigh down the basket or make it hang unbalanced. Similar to tomatoes, pepper plants hang well because they are a bit smaller and won't have long runners, quite the same as strawberries or tomatoes or cucumbers. Snap peas are another vining plant that we traditionally grow upwards, but the plant itself doesn't mind drooping those vines below. There are lots of loose-leaf varieties of lettuce and cabbages that'll love it in a basket that gets watered daily. Plus, they provide vibrant colors, purples, greens, reds, and various shapes to enjoy. And green spring onions and chives also grow well in a hanging basket right next to a basket of greens. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
We'll have some sunshine today with a thunderstorm in parts of the area this afternoon. High today, 89 to 91. Then thunderstorms in the area this afternoon will continue through this evening in spots. Patchy fog late, humid, low 74 to 76. Patchy fog in the morning Friday, still humid, partly cloudy, thunderstorms in the afternoon with a high of 85 to 89. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Thursday. Yeah, the county commission meeting was Tuesday, so that means it's time to talk about the county commission with County Commissioner Kathy Bryant. She is in studio with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
I will tell you before we get started, I'm very proud and honored to say that I attended what has me excited. My first litter task force meeting was held last week.
Yes.
An amazing turnout. I felt like there were 27 people that were going to be good for this task force, and then me. But it's a who's who of every agency and community people, and we're all committed to one thing, and that's the beautification of Marion County and the education of people to know the county's not a